First, before we get started, I want to thank everybody for being here, being loyally here every week. I know, being able to come in here and spend time together, we get a chance to talk and know each other, and I really appreciate your honesty. I thought you were honest and forthright in all the things that you've written and talked about as far as our program, and I really appreciate the professionalism, things like that. So it's good. We can't do it without you guys. Y'all know that, and I really appreciate that. It's for y'all to come in every day, every week, and spend time with us is, it's important for us. It gives us exposure to our program. It helps in recruiting, and we got to do our part on the field, but it helps to be able to get the word out, who we are and what we're about, and I appreciate you guys doing that. Thank you very much. We'll talk. I'll hit on McNeese a little bit, but we've already gotten past him. It was a good win for us. Good team effort. I think defensively was probably our best effort of the season for us to be able to play as well as we did and shut them down like we did do. I thought offensively being able to run the football was something that was critical for us, and we made a concerted effort to do that, and we were able to do that. And it gave our kids confidence that we can run the football. If that's the number one team in the conference against the rush, and we were able to run the football against those guys, then obviously it gave them confidence that we should be able to do it against anybody. So that'll – we'll keeping that in the game plan the entire time, and as long as I'm here, we want to display a level of toughness that when we need to, we got to run the football, and we needed to. We had a couple of nice drives the other night. One resulted in points, the other one didn't, but the one that didn't was a long drive, got us all the way down to the other end of the field and burned up a lot of clock and really showed our guys we could do the things that we needed to do from a physicality standpoint. So I was excited about that part. Moving on now to Nichols. We got a team that's ranked in the top 20 in the country again. They're right at the top of the league defensively, very good. They do a much better job. I think their quarterback does a nice job offensively, pushing the ball down the field, but he also has the ability to move, run around. He's an experienced guy. He's been playing with them. You're looking at a defense who's very active up front. I think is probably besides LSU, their front four guys are the most active, physical guys that we've seen all year this year. Really their front seven. All of those guys move around really well. I think their down linemen do such a good job. They'll play man against us sometimes. They'll play some zone, but the majority of it will be man. They could switch that up, obviously, but they do a good job on the back end also. They don't give up a lot of points. They do a good job running the football and taking time off of the clock, not exposing their defense to too many snaps during the course of the game. And because of that, their numbers are real low. They keep games close, except if you turn it over. I think they do a great job of capitalizing off of turnovers. We've been watching film the last couple of weeks. I don't know what their points off turnovers is, but when they do get them, they take advantage of them. And that's a mark of a really good football team. So, when you watch those guys, you see those things taking place. I know Tim Rebo's in his third year, I think. Kim, is that right? Third or fourth? Third year. He's developed and got guys in there and recruited guys to his personality, which is a tough, hard-nosed personality. And he's gotten those guys in there, and they're growing up now. They're in their junior year and their third year. So when you look at the preseason all-conference team, Nichols had 11 guys on that team. They led the entire conference for preseason all-conference honors. They had 11 guys. All 11 of those guys were from South Louisiana. So it showed you his emphasis 3 years ago when he got here, what he wanted to do and what he wanted to be about. Well, that's where we're going. We know how important this game was, as was the McNeese game. Going into this game, how important it is when it comes down to recruiting. So we're going head to head on a lot of kids right now in the recruiting process against Nichols, against McNeese, and we've got to be able to show that our product on the field is something they want to be a part of. McNeese was a huge step forward for us, being able to play like we did in that game. Nichols is just as important, equally important from that standpoint. So I expect our guys to play well. We used last week, the open date week, we prepared just like we were playing Nichols on Saturday, that we didn't have an open date. So we basically practiced Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, just like it was game week. We prepared a game plan and did that entire process. Friday, we took team pictures. So that was a day off for our guys and a relaxing day. And then we started on Saturday just like it was Tuesday all over again. So we were able to repeat our base down practice on Tuesday. We repeated our third down practice, which is a Wednesday practice, yesterday. Today will be a red zone practice predominantly. Tomorrow will be a repeat, and then also being able to tie up any loose ends, what we have going on during the course of the week from base down, third down. We'll just tie those up tomorrow. Wednesday will be like a Friday practice, a walkthrough, and some other stuff. And then Thursday we'll travel down to the game. So this will be a day trip for us. We'll wake up Thursday, treat it like game day, go to breakfast together, have a pregame meal, load up on the buses, head down to Thibodeau and play the game, and then come back right afterwards. We have an opportunity, which I think is, and I've challenged our players about this. When you look back over the course of our season, there's been some near misses, and then we won a couple of close games. So, I think when it comes to building a championship team, you want to look at, you want to lose close, and then you start winning close. Well, we're right there at that part, when it comes to that. And then now we got to build till we start winning big on a regular basis. So when you look back over the course of the season, if we flip one game, the results of us and UIW, that game flips. We're playing Nicholls State for the championship of the conference this weekend. Or this Thursday. So just one game in this entire process over 11-game season could flip, everybody's, the outcome of what this season's all about, and that would give us an opportunity. So every game counts all the time. When I talk about this game is the most important one, it truly is the most important one because it's the one we're playing, and it's not just coach speak. Those are the facts. You just never know when it's going to happen. We talk about to the players all the time about at the end of any game, there's going to be 4 or 5 plays that dictate the outcome of the game. You just don't know which ones those are going to be or when they're going to come. So that's why you got to play everyone like it's your last, because it could possibly be that, and our games were the same way. So when you look back at the opportunities that we had during the course of the season, just getting the outcome changed in that one game would put us in a position right now to be doing what we're doing. That's why we prepared this week exactly like we did. We want to prepare like this is the championship game for us. This is not about ruining Nicholls State's season. That has nothing to do with our preparation. This is about us playing better than we have all year long, because it's the last game for us. We want to be at our best in this final game. So I want to make sure that when we're playing this final game that we're at our best, because that means we've had an upward trend for the most part during the course of the season. So I know they've got a lot at stake. It's a playoff bid. It's a co-conference championship, the whole 9 yards for them. For us, it's just equally as important from the standpoint of where we are as a program and us beating them on the field. So that's been the emphasis for our guys. They've grasped, they've embraced it, they're excited about it, and we're looking forward to going down there on Thursday. So with that, I'll take questions.
The way that open day fell for you guys, I don't remember since it was football back in being this late in the season, you guys pull off a big win. Does that work to your advantage, or are you worried about having the time off in between?
You'd probably, ideally, you'd like an open date sometime during the middle of the season so that you have an opportunity to heal some bumps and bruises and things like that. When you go 10 weeks straight, it does take a toll on your team. And, another thing that college kids have, we got midterm exams sometimes around in that area. So you'd like those things to take place. Ours took place right around the Abilene Christian, UIW during that time, and it's not an excuse. It's just what it is. And sometimes there's a lapse in what takes place. So ideally you'd like to have the open date during that time. We don't set those. So as you plan the season out, back in June and July, as we look forward to the season, we pointed to this and said, this open week, let's prepare to go win the conference championship down in Thibodeau. We need to win that game and win the conference championship. That week off, let's schedule it this way so that we can be prepared for that for in the future. So, like I said, we don't set them, so it is what it is. So we got to go play it.
Is not having Darren Johnson in the first half going to mess y'all up on the running back rotation, or how are you?
It does. We'll change it up a little bit, and it's unfortunate he got that so late in the game with 20 seconds left in the game, and again, I know what targeting is. I read the rules. I just don't know what targeting is. When I see it, I guess. It's like, I'm not sure which Supreme Court justice said it. He said that I can't define what pornography is, but when I see it, I know what it is. Well, I think it's the other way around with targeting. I can define it because I can read the rule, but when I see it, I don't know what it is. So I kind of go both ways on that. We'll miss him on some special teams, and then he'll be ready to go in the second half, and we'll just use other guys that'll come in and play during that time, pick up the slack for him. Yeah. I mean, that's a great challenge, right? We talked to our players about it. You want to measure yourself against the best. If you say you want to be the best and you aspire for your program to be the best, keep playing the best, and then you go beat the best, and then you can become the best. Well, if all you're looking for is just try to get by or things like that's not, you can't grow like that. So we want to grow and become who we are against the best teams who we are in the conference, whether it be statistically or wins and losses like they are in both of them. So the opportunity for us to do that against them, to me, is that's a great opportunity. It's an exciting opportunity for us. So for us to be able to do that, I want to be able to step on the field and say, you know what, we did it against these guys, and we did it again against these guys.
Frank, I know the special teams didn't cover itself in glory the last game, but it has been good all year. It was kind of an anomaly, I guess. Would you talk a little bit about that, specifically Jonathan Tate?
Yeah, we've been good, and I really do believe this, Jim. When you look at the hidden yardage that we've gotten on our returns and our coverage teams, we've been really good all year long. And some of those, what doesn't show up in the stats is when they won't kick it deep and they kick it out of bounds and we get it on the 35. Or they kick it to an up-back and we run it back to the 35 or the 38-yard line. So there's maybe a 10-yard return there, but we got the ball on the 38-yard line. We're not getting it back in our end zone. So I think that's been, we don't overlook it. I know it's not something that's really publicized because it's really not glamorous. I was really disappointed in what happened this past week. 2 block punts, 2 muff punts, those things. If you'd have said going in playing that team and these things happened, how you going to do? I'd said I don't think the outcome's going to be favorable because those things are hard to overcome. But it also shows you how well we played on both sides of the football to be able to do that. I will say that Jim Spites came in and kicked, or his first 2 punts put him inside the 5-yard line. That had a lot to do with the game being turned around, getting the short fields and forcing them to go the long field. So from that standpoint, it was good. Our kickoff coverage was good. Our kickoff return was fine. Those things were fine. But our punt unit on both sides was something that wasn't good. I think Jonathan's continued to have a good year. Jonathan, and I spoke about it in the spring, in the summer, in camp, even after the Monroe game when he missed those 2 kicks. We got a lot of faith in him going up there and kicking the ball. If we got to kick a game winner, I'll call on him again to do it, or a game to tie it. I'll call on him to do it, and just got a lot of faith in him. I think he does a good job. He's really had a good season for us. He's been very consistent as to who he is in practice every day. Well, this will be a big day for us to kick some field goals, even in the rain. We'll kick some field goals and stuff like that today. So we're not going to flinch. We're going to go out there and kick it with him. So he's really done a good job for us. I'm excited about him.
Coach, beyond recruiting, what's the importance of ending the year off with a win before heading into the election?
Yeah, remember November, right? So, sometimes people have a short memory. They're not sure. Did y'all play LSU this year or last year? All the way back to that. But you win these last 2 games against 2 quality programs like McNeese and Nicholls State, who we compete with every day. You got some fodder for 365 days to use against those guys and from a recruiting standpoint. And that's important. You can't overlook what high school guys look at when they're making their decisions. Who's rising, who's dropping, who won, who didn't win, what uniforms look pretty, things like that. All those things come into play. Well, for us to be able to get back to sound fundamentals and say, we won. We won. You want to win or you want to wear this? We won these games. So for us to be able to win this game is extremely important when it goes to the recruiting process. It's going to happen. We'll have the early signing date in December again, and we got another one in February. So a lot of those kids will make up their minds by the early signing date. Some of them will wait till February to do it, and it's going to be an ongoing battle with both of those schools. They do a good job on the road recruiting. They're thorough. They got a lot to sell in their program, and we got to compete every day to get those kids.
You talk about 4K a little bit, what he brings to the table?
Yeah, leadership. He brings that fiery leadership, man. I watched him a couple of years ago when I was at UTSA. We watched him, and we just felt like he was a guy we could maybe find in the state of Texas, because of the measurables on him. What we didn't look at him, or what we missed out on him was his intangibles. He's a guy that can go play anywhere. He's going to go compete. So when you watch him out on the field competing, running around, taking hits, being physical, making plays with his feet and his arm, you can see he directs the offense. He's the catalyst for them. I think he brings a spirit that all programs need, all offenses need, all programs really. I would be surprised if he's not a lightning rod in the locker room. So you really want that type of kid playing for you. You hate them when they're on the other team. You love them when they're on your team because he's able to do so much from that standpoint. So I've always felt like a guy at that position, you're either so good that people recognize you or you're just so fiery, physical. You got all the intangibles that you look for. He's a true football player. Those are the things that you look for when you're recruiting guys like that.
Can he play at the next level?
That's not my call. I don't know. His size will probably hurt him more than anything else. Well, Drew Brees is only 6 feet tall. I'm not going to compare him to maybe the greatest quarterback that, I'm not going to do that. So a Hall of Famer. But will he get an opportunity? There's a good chance he could get an opportunity to play at the next level. His production is what they're going to look at. They're going to look at his fundamentals, which he's really good fundamentally. They're going to look at his, they'll go out, and I haven't seen him throw in person, check out his arm strength, which I think on film looks good. But you got to go watch him throw it and spin it and things like that. And then I think his ability to read defenses and understand what he's looking at is really good. That's evident on tape. But they'll spend a lot of time with him, evaluate him. He'll be a guy that they definitely will evaluate in a year from now.
Well, you were talking about recruiting before. What can you tell us about what y'all have been able to do so far and what kind of inroads you've made and how many you might expect to sign?
Yeah, I made an effort to build this staff with the idea of recruiting this area of the state. And we've made some great inroads. We've got about 22 commitments right now, and 19 of them are from right here in the state of Louisiana. So when you look at that, that's what we're doing. We're going to build this team from inside out, and then we're going to go supplement it with guys from outside the area. And but I think it goes back to the people on our staff who know the coaches and players in this state. When you look at Chris Lashney, who grew up right here in the state, went to Southeastern. Terrence Calais, who went to Louisiana Tech and grew up in South Louisiana. Ross Jenkins went to Louisiana Tech and grew up down here, Houston, and mom lives in New Orleans. Brandon Lacey's been here for 9 years, so he's got inroads all over South Louisiana. Garrett Sashery grew up in New Orleans, went to Brother Martin, recruits the city of New Orleans. I grew up here. We did all the things that are here with me. So when you look, Travis Michael grew up on the Gulf Coast, been coaching here for a long time. So when you look at all those things, Michael Spurlock got all the ends with the Mississippi junior colleges and the high schools in Mississippi. So when you look at all those things, it kind of tells you I want to concentrate here, and I want to do it developing relationships so that we can continue on, not just a 1 or 2 year deal. This is a long-term deal, developing those relationships. We're not going to sign every good player that we want out of South Louisiana. We know that. Other guys get theirs too. But what I want to be able to do is that next year or the year after, we're getting guys out of these schools that we're recruiting that we might not have gotten this year, but we're going to get them because we're going to show them that we're honest, we're upfront, we're not a fly-by-night process. We're going to stay with you and we'll be loyal to your program, just like we're going to be loyal to those players when they come here to this program. And we're going to shoot them straight. I do a bad job from the recruiting standpoint of lying to kids. I don't do a good job of that. I tell them flat out, this is where I think we are, and this is where I think you fit in. And if you're good enough, you play, and if you're not, you won't. So it's not, look, you should come in and start right now. I'm not going to tell them that. I'm going to tell them you come in and compete because we got guys that are here that are pretty good too. But I think you got a chance to come in and play. So some kids don't want to hear that, and we find out right off the bat that those are the type of guys that we want. We want competitive players. I don't think there's any state, I know for a fact, on a per capita basis, Louisiana's number one as far as Division I signees. Well, we need to get our share of those guys here. Like I said, Nichols has 11 preseason all-conference players, first team, and all 11 from South Louisiana. So why don't we go find some of those? Maybe next year they only get 5 or 6 and we get the other ones, and I'm fine with that. So they're going to get their share because there's enough good players here, but I want to get as many good players as we can out of this area before branching out to other areas to help fill the needs on our football team. We're going to take the best player. Now, we're going to take the best player that we can. But if all things equal, we're going to take a guy from around here.
Coach, you talked about the Riverdale Classic with the team and the history and what it means.
Yeah, we did. We got the picture up every day when they're walking a team meeting. They're looking at the trophy. The trophy's downstairs in our lounge area. They see it every day. We talk about the history of it. So when they know what it's all about, they know it better than I do, Rob. when I first got here, probably a week into it, we at the Nichols basketball game where we clinched the championship, we presented the River Bell Trophy. And I said, you guys got to help me out, tell me what this is all about. Well, the players were the ones that were filling me with everything. So, yeah, I know it was an exciting time. We were talking earlier when we won the game here last year, our guys ran over there, grabbed the trophy, and ran around the field with it. That tells you now there's some passion involved with that trophy and that rivalry. I don't know, as far as whether McNeese a bigger rivalry or Nichols is a bigger rivalry. I know we got a trophy with Nichols. So Nichols State, that's a rivalry for me. If you got a trophy with them, that's a rivalry. So we got a trophy with them. That's a big game for them. And our players definitely understand the importance of this game. We're good. Thank y'all, guys. Appreciate it.